What's up, Lions fans? Welcome to Season 1, Episode 26 of the Lions Main Podcast. On this episode, we give our thoughts on the Lions skinning the Jaguars and turning them into a rug to be walked all over. We'll also hand out some game balls and talk about what concerns us most. As always, thank you for your support. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at Lions Main Podcast.
This is the Lions Main Podcast.
What's up, fellas? Victory Monday. Victory Monday, right? It's Monday, right? I get my days of the week off.
What up, though?
What up, though?
George, say it.
Come on, George.
No, thank you.
What's up, though?
I mean, what do you even say after a win like that, dude? Like, it's honest. Though these are when the games aren't that fun, really, to preview or do a recap on, because we knew we were going to kick their ass. Like in the beginning for our predictions, I said 34-6. George, you said 35-7. And then Jim, you are obviously must not know ball because you said 34-14. You really thought Mac Jones would put up 14 fucking points against us. Anyways,
I said 16. So
okay, fair enough. We all projected that we blow them out, but dude, what the fuck is Ben Johnson and the Lions offense on? They got to test Ben Johnson for PEDs, bro.
Hey,
What's he on?
I think Ben Johnson was I think he was submitting his game tape to Shad Khan, his interview to be the Jags' next head coach.
I want to circle back to this, and it's going to sound like a hot take. I think the Jaguars' job, in terms of the location and the owner and the potential for it, is a top 5 NFL job, and I'll talk about that later. But
top 5 NFL job total?
Yes.
Or available?
No, available.
No, total. Get rid of all the rosters. I'll tell you why at the end. Not including rosters, obviously, because would you rather have the Lions or the Jaguars roster? No brainer.
No, don't tell us at the end. Just go ahead and just tell us now.
That's a crazy take.
So here's my thinking. Well, I think also as a player, it might be a top 5 team to play for because, first of all, you're in a no income state tax. Regardless of politics, you know that they all care about that. They all love it. It's inexpensive compared to Miami. Miami's an awesome city, but if you're like a 50-year-old or 45-year-old Ben Johnson with kids who's, hopefully not cheating, even if he is, it's more clandestine than going to the club. So, he's living in a city that he can get a huge house for half the price. He can get like a bongo house. On top of that, you've got Shad Khan, who's one of the richest owners in the NFL, and dude is ridiculously patient. The fact that Doug Peterson isn't fired today is insane. So you've got ownership that has deep pockets, cares about the team, and is not going to fire you. And just personally, I think their uniforms are awesome. So, you get cool gear. Imagine wearing like Commanders or Bears gear versus Jaguars gear.
Okay, but you have to go to London 3 times a year.
Oh, you get to go overseas? That sounds pretty neat.
Don't they stay there for like 2 weeks? They play like back-to-back games there, so you're like a secondary resident.
Also, have you been to Jacksonville?
Well, here's the thing. They don't actually go to downtown Jacksonville. Much like, I hate to say it, a lot of Lions players don't spend time in Detroit proper. They just go to the practice facility with all their palm trees around it, go back to their mega mansion, on the water, and relax there with all their friends. And in the off-season, you can live wherever you want.
You just have to really love golf, I feel like. If you love golf...
Dude, we're talking about middle-aged white men for the most part. Of course they love golf.
That's facts.
I don't know about best all of the NFL, though.
I'm saying, how about this?
I think
Cleveland or Jacksonville? Jaguars, the team. Browns or Jaguars? Which job you taking?
Jaguars.
Jags. That's Cleveland.
I know, but okay, that's good. That's a good point.
All the good weather places are up there. I think that's fair to say.
To me, though, there's some that are better. Like, it all depends. If I'm a single dude who's hot and 40 years old, I might pick Miami over Jacksonville. But if I'm like Ben Johnson, I think he has a family. Seems a little more chill. Slot me. Plus Miami, those houses out there in actual Miami are expensive as hell.
Right. I think they have such low expectations in Jacksonville, and their fan base doesn't seem to be hellish. They seem to be actually pretty patient and pretty cool. So I get that aspect. You could go there just kind of like Dan Campbell did with Detroit and be like bad for 2 years, be really bad for 2 years, and you're still gonna have a chance. You go be bad in 90% of these stadiums, and you're fired halfway through that season. So I get your point, Jim.
You're fucked.
And a fan is gonna, and you might get jumped by fans leaving the stadium.
Worst fans in the NFL, but that's besides the point. But yeah, no, there's
Right.
Cowboys, Giants, any of those places they were doing the get out.
So Philly, you guys, we looking at the NFC Championship game right there, or what? Currently, the Lions are sitting at 1, Eagles 2, Cardinals 3 in a really tight NFC West, Falcons 4, Vikings 5, Packers 6, and then I was a little high on them, but the Commanders at 7. You guys thinking Eagles Lions NFC Championship or what?
I
They
hope
do
so.
look good.
You want the Eagles?
Yeah, fuck them. We're gonna fucking destroy them. Are you kidding me? The Eagles? You saw how they
Yeah.
played at the end of the last season. Give me that. Give me
was
that
last
all day.
season.
Oh, they've changed so much.
Come on.
They also started the season 11-0. Like, what the hell? All right. I wouldn't mind seeing them, if anybody, because the strength of our defense is our run defense. And so, I mean, say quads, and then you got the tush push. I mean, if Jalen Hurts wants to beat, they won't beat us. But if he wants to go out there and throw the ball, fucking, he can do it. So
He'll
whatever.
throw a couple picks for sure.
He'll throw picks for sure.
I
think-
would hate to play? The Rams. I'm just sick of the Rams in the playoffs. I feel like they just play better against us than anybody else. They play up, and it's like that stupid narrative. So
I don't think the Rams are going to make it.
hope
Real quick note on the Eagles. I think that they've got the most well-known, they got the most amount of guys, like top to bottom on their roster. I feel like there's so many dudes on their team. Like they got guys, like even more than the Lions. Like as far as when you look at their roster as a whole, like we know the Lions and like the guys that are dudes, like internally, but as like from like an opposing fan base looking outside in, I feel like people know who's on the Eagles. Like people know those dudes and know them to be, I don't know,
Dogs. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like any week you can get beat by Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Saquon. If Zach Ertz went out there and caught 3 touchdowns, you wouldn't be surprised.
I think
Zach
Zach,
Ertz.
no, who's the other guy?
Dallas
Goddard.
Hold on, I got
Yeah.
I'll be
You mean Julie Ertz's husband?
Yeah, Julian's his husband. What's up, George?
I think Saquon's bound to break though. That man always breaks. He's just doing too much. He's those legs are too powerful for his tendons. You know, he's gonna break at some point. And I mean, I think that's why they're really doing so well, is because of him.
Yeah,
I mean, they're like we just said, their team is stacked, but I think he's been the biggest difference maker this season. I think that's been pretty obvious.
No, that's actually a really good point. And that's where we are better at than the Eagles, is we have that running back tandem, the two-headed monster. We have 2 top 10 running backs. You can argue Gibbs is top 5. And they got Saquon and Kenneth Gainwell. So if they put Kenneth Gainwell in the game, woohoo! That drive is stalled out, buddy. That drive is stalled out. So I'm not too concerned right now.
Or like Kenneth lost poorly.
I don't even know what the fuck you mean by that. All right,
Kenneth, anyways.
all right, okay. I get what you're saying. Quick on your toes. But Drew, no, you said you don't think the Rams will be in. You don't think they'll make it. It's tight, dude.
The NFC East is NFC West is super tight. Like you've got Arizona sitting at top, right, 6-4, and then everybody else is 5-5.
Yeah.
You know, the Niners just lost to the Seahawks. Like they're not looking. I mean, they're hurt, but they're not looking very, very good. And I don't know. That's a desperate team. I think they're playing the Packers this next week. That's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, no, that'll be a really big test. I think the Rams suffered from those injuries. They fell into the trap that all teams do when they play the Lions. Their best players get injured the next week, and so they can't play. But Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, they're back. They both went off this last game.
But it's because the Patriots.
Yeah. But the Patriots beat the fucking Bears 28-3. Something ridiculous.
It's the Bears.
Are we going through our hierarchy of teams? So where do the Jaguars fit in there then? Are the Jaguars better than the Bears? Worse than the Bears?
Jaguars are worse than the Bears.
The Bears are like the top level of shit in the porta potty. The Bears are like down, if the Bears are the top level, the Jaguars are down where it's like seeping together, turning into a hellacious mixture. That's where the Jaguars are. Bottom of Shitville.
I think the only team worse than the Jags are the Titans. legitimately.
Not with Mac
Right.
Jones, I would say the Titans are better
I-
with
I-
Mac Jones starting.
We should stop talking so down on the Bears because we're going to eat our words if we keep doing shit like that. Because these guys, I mean, they just went toe-to-toe with the Packers. Packers aren't even bad. So I understand we're the best and we're super confident, but like, let's chill, bro. Come on. Their team is good. Their team is
be
good.
nice, boys. Play nice, boys.
Hey, buddy, you're just gonna be eating your words too. If you keep talking all this shit about them, I mean, fuck, they're bound to get you.
Good. They're not. I agree that we're probably treating them like because I feel like we mentally put them on the same par as the Jaguars and whatnot. But they are a team that can beat good teams, but they can't.
They have to play their best. Caleb Williams has to play elite. And
that's between them and the Jags. The Jags, no matter how good they played on Sunday, were getting steamrolled. The Bears, if we came in and played poorly and they played their best game, they could beat us. 90% of the time, we're going to win that game. If we play even our average game and they play a really good game, we're winning. But to your point, there's a chance to lose to them. There's no chance to lose to some of these teams, like the Jags and Titans.
I get what you're saying. Speaking of the Bears, I think I'm out on Caleb Williams. You guys say they're an okay team. You can have a great team, but if your quarterback is Caleb Williams, I think you're shit. But he had the opportunity to go and actually do one of the greatest things in Bears quarterback history. Break the 10-game losing streak to the Packers.
It's 10 games?
It's now 11. It's 11 games. It's 11 games straight. No, he didn't. He had 65 rushing yards.
First of all, he had 70 and 230 passing yards.
0 touchdowns, 1 interception.
No, he had 0 interceptions.
I mean, he didn't have an interception. I thought I saw it. I thought I saw it in the stats when I looked them up after the game. But if he didn't, if my quarterback went out there, threw for 230 yards and ran for 70 and 0 touchdowns, what is that? A bunch of field goals? That sucks.
That's what they got.
Yeah, fair enough. But the Bears lost in Bears fashion, unfortunately, to the fucking Packers. I was conflicted on who to root for because I don't know. I guess who I wanted to lose because I hate the fucking Packers, but I couldn't. Bears fans are the fucking worst. They're the worst on the planet. So I wasn't trying to see them actually win and then hear them all over social media. It's a lose situation.
Quick question for the three of you, since this game recap is going to be just us talking off various Lions players. In terms of the fan base of the NFC North, I would like all three of you to stack rank the ones you like from the least to the I just like all three, but number one would be the one you like the absolute least, and number three is like the one you maybe don't like but aren't as down on. Because I think my rankings literally changed month to month based on who we played recently, based on who I'm seeing on social media. So I'm curious, maybe Drew, you start 1 through 3.
Dude, wait. Should you be unbiased and include the Lions fans in here too?
No, we like Lions fans.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Some Lions fans can be bad, can be fucking bad. But
from most sufferable to least, I think the most sufferable are Vikings fans, Packers fans, and for me, like, I don't mind Bears fans because they're just literally just a hurt dog. They're literally just like down bad. To me, I'm like, I almost feel bad for them because it's like they're looking up at the Lions like, why can't that be us? Why can't I be Drew right now, who's literally cheering for the team for the first time ever, the betting Super Bowl favorite? Like, of course they want to be me. And so I don't know, but Vikings fans are like think that they are me. Like they think that they're cheering for a team that's on the same level as the Lions. And then Packers fans, I don't know, I don't see them day to day. But
well, okay, I like that, and I will insert my opinion here because I think I have a different ranking than you. But I actually agree with the Vikings as the worst. And I think the reason why is they have been such whiners the past couple of years, especially with that Kirby Joseph acting like that was like this maliciously horrifying hit that's never happened before. So they're obsessed with Kirby Joseph on Vikings social media, literally obsessed with him, them and the Rams. But on top of that, they act like, especially the Lions, like all over social media, they're like, act like you've been there before. Like, well, I was like, bro, you haven't done anything either. Like this is why Bears and Vikings are up there above Packers for me, is because Packers fans will talk shit about the game. They'll be rivals, but at the end of the day, they've won so much that it's like if the Lions win, it doesn't really hurt them. Like, it sucks because we get to talk shit, but they're not that bummed out. Vikings and Bears fans are like crabs in a bucket, like trying to do like they're trying to pull us back down with them. So I just think those two fan bases. Vikings fans are whiny, sensitive babies. Bears fans are horrendous assholes, and then Packers fans are mediocre, other than the one that punched that girl we know, vaguely know.
I don't know if I feel the same way as you guys. I think Drew's bit on Lions Twitter a lot, and you're on Lions Reddit a lot. So you get these different perspectives coming in. For me, definitely hate the Bears the most. Fuck them. I hate Chicago. They're just insufferable fucks. When I worked at Central, some of the guys on the team, or guys that worked with us, they were Bears fans. Our boss was a Bears fan. I didn't fucking understand it. They would talk shit. They'd run their mouths. It made me sick to my stomach. One of them was a Green Bay fan, but he was from the UP. He had the body, and he had that voice, the UP. So like he wasn't that bad, but like it was the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, and I just fucking hated them, because of all that they did. So they're probably number 2. And to be completely honest with you, I don't even think about the Vikings whatsoever. So I don't know. They're just bottom barrel bitches for me. So.
My thing with the Vikings, just they are fraudulent year in, year out. Like I feel like for the entire time I've been a football fan, they've just been fake good. Like they've never done anything like since Brett Favre in the playoffs, and they've like had these great seasons. Like they've had good talent, and then they just don't do anything with it. And the fans are like, every year they're like, won't admit that it's fraudulent. That what they're doing is like, it's like not fair. It's not fair to play so well in the regular season and have this great record and then be bad in the playoffs. You can't do that. Pisses me off.
Yeah. That is what they do. I will say, I think it's a good point about social media, George, because I've never really interacted with a Vikings fan in real life, and if I have the one or two times, it's been fine. I actually think, hot take, Packers fans, I'm sure, can be miserable if you're around them all the time, but the ones I know are like those stupid asses that are from Michigan, so I like the Lions too. I support the Lions when they're not playing the Packers. It's like it's like U of M fans who do that. I like Michigan State too. I can't. I mean, those types of people are even worse than normal fans because I actually end up not hating them. So it's frustrating when you have to watch them be happy because they're not
too nice.
The worst person on earth.
Upers are nice, and it's weird, and like
that's what I hate.
From Michigan, that's what like it's annoying as fuck. You're like, so just because you're close to a different state, you're gonna fucking, and it's a fucking, no offense, Adam, lame ass fucking city too. Fuck that. What the hell? Have some fucking state pride a little bit. Jesus.
They disrespect Detroit like Green Bay fans. Like you don't live in a literal piece of shit. Like a city with the same population as one of our suburbs. Like
with
what
shittier
the hell?
Infrastructure.
It's like half the population of Grand Rapids. What the fuck?
One of the drunkest parts of America. DUIs should be handed out like candy there. But I do think Bears fans, now that I might move Bears fans to 1 because every time I deal with a Bears fan in real life, they're either nice but completely unrealistic about what they say and act like they're like we're one of the premier franchises, we're one of the old school franchises, or they're just complete assholes.
I will say, I know I put the Bears fans at the bottom for me, but the beginning of this season, they were really pissing me off. I just feel like as of late, like because I lived in Chicago for so long, like, and I see these guys and like, they're down bad, man. They're hurting. They're like, there's not like any ounce of, I think that this team can be good still and like in them. And so I just kind of like I feel for them. I'm like, damn, I know what that was like.
Thanksgiving is their Super Bowl, so they're just waiting for that. If hoping it goes their way, and that'll give them just a fucking fraction of hope.
I don't even think that if you're a real Bears fan, you want to lose at this point. I'm not even sure that they'd be rooting to win.
That is straight up loser mentality. What do you mean? So they get a higher draft pick?
If they beat
they're not out of the playoff competition. Like they can still get in.
I think you always want to win a division game. Plus, they're not bad enough to get a great pick, but they're bad enough. They're like, if they finish 8-9 and beat the Lions, actually that might be horrific for them because they might keep Eberflus at that point. But
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Big Cat's worst nightmare.
Their roster is
there any point that seriously, as a Lions fan, that you're like, all right, I'm rooting for us to tank? Like, even when we're like 2-13, you're watching the game like.
No, because we never had to root for it. It would just happen. It would just happen. So, like, we didn't – we'd get the high draft picks, and it didn't fucking matter. So, it's like, no, I don't root to fucking lose. That doesn't mean shit.
By the way, not tanking got us Aiden Hutchinson. And when we could have probably had him at the number one anyway, so it's a stupid point. But we got him anyways that one season. Because when we were 0-10 and 1 and people were saying, just lose the rest. What the hell? I also don't want to be this only team that's gone winless twice.
You're right. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't believe in tanking, but
especially in the NFL, it's different in like the NBA because it's such a star-driven league. But like in the NFL, like you really need
no. Fuck tanking in the NBA. There's no team that's been fucked over more than the Detroit Pistons by tanking.
No, they don't know because they nerfed tanking. They nerfed tanking in the NBA.
Right.
They used to be 40% chance for the first pick for the worst team, and now it's 14%. You only have a 40% chance to get a top.
So tanking is useless in the NBA.
Yeah, but it should be brought back because otherwise you get like mediocrity. Again, with such a star-driven league, like you get teams like until this year, the Pistons who are just wallowing. If the Wizards don't get like a top 3 or 4 pick, now this draft class is deep. But if they don't get him or one of the Rutgers guys or whatever, like they could just be fucking 5 years down the road and just be shit up a creek.
Right? No, I agree.
NFL, you can flip on a dime. You can 2 seasons later if you get the right couple guys, cornerstone. I mean, look at the Lions. They went from 3-13-1 to 12-5 in 2 years.
Yeah.
To 16-1.
Yeah, but that also relies on the fact that you got a good GM. You got people out there making the right calls.
You made the biggest trade in modern history too.
Right. Yeah. Maybe.
One of them.
Maybe one of them.
But it's harder in the NBA because you need to hit on unless you draft a LeBron or you draft someone of literally almost that level. It's so hard to do in such a quick time without a complete all-star versus the NFL. People changes fast.
It does. And I feel like unlike so in the NBA, not every team can go out there and win every week. But seriously, the Titans can go out there 1 week as the worst team in the league and beat somebody if they catch them lacking. The NFL is, I feel like it's based up a lot on momentum. So your roster might not look that sexy, but if you got the momentum, you can go out there and beat anybody.
Yeah, it's all about parity. I mean, the NFL is a pro sports league in America with the most, possibly in the world with the most parity. That's why it's such a rare thing when a team like the Chiefs goes buck wild for 4 years. I mean, it's all QB at that point. It's Tom Brady, but
right.
I think there was a stat one time that the NFC East hadn't had a repeat winner in a decade. Every single year, the next year another team would win. That just doesn't happen in basketball or NBA. It just doesn't. It's just not possible.
Right. But speaking of the Chiefs and their little dynasty, it's looking like this year is going to be. Wait, what do you call it, Drew?
Destiny versus dynasty.
Destiny versus dynasty, and on this road of destiny, we had to go out there and we had to embarrass a bunch of grown men. And I never feel bad for teams, and I don't know who was that, McKinney or whatever for the Packers. He said that we were going out there embarrassing people. Bro, these are grown ass men, ages 22 to fucking 42 years old. There's nothing. There's no embarrassment. You go out there and get your ass kicked and hand it to them. You don't even feel fucking bad for them.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Right. We should embarrass their ass a little bit more. Fuck it. The hell? We got lucky that we didn't beat their ass.
Embarrassed? Dude, I mean, I don't understand that. Are they embarrassed? Are they getting embarrassed? I mean, then play better. Like the players have been responding. It's the only way to stop the. I mean, it's just the weirdest thing I've ever heard. It's stop running up the score.
Bro, this isn't Little League when they start the running clock and then do a mercy rule. What the fuck are you talking about? You got the Detroit Lions have a game plan to waste some clock then, or like maintain more possession. You got Mac Jones dropping back and trying to throw it, getting sacked. You got a horrible running game. Like, maybe just get the ball and punt it every play. Like, fuck, come up with a better plan or something. I don't fucking know. Like, I just find that a little bit ridiculous. And
no,
Packers, go ahead, Drew.
It's honestly kind of crazy that, like, I have not seen a team in the NFL that, like, doesn't take weeks off. Like, it feels like Dan Campbell has the Lions humming to a point where they don't have look-ahead games. They don't have let-down games. Like, that's what everybody was talking about before this last game, the game against the Jags. Like, oh, this is a letdown spot, or, we're going to get caught looking ahead. Like,
Right.
But we come out and we do what good teams are supposed to do to bad teams. And it's like, for whatever reason, I just haven't seen a team come out and punch a Jaguars team or like a bad team in the mouth the way that the Lions have to the bad teams they've played. Like, I haven't seen that. Like, usually it doesn't happen that way. I guess
I agree with you. No, I got a really good point to that. So my old boss, the one who's always talking shit, the one who roots for both the Cowboys and Texans, his excuse about the Cowboys was, oh, you beat up on a beat up team, a team that's like dying. When they had Dak Prescott, they had CD, like majority of their team was healthy besides the D end, who's a great player, Michael Parsons. But like, we beat the fuck out of them. And if you look at right now, the Texans are a good team. They're beating them 17-10. Like, yeah. I just don't get that. I get what you're saying, and I mean, a lot of people are.
I'm just more impressed by how Dan Campbell's got these guys fighting day in, day out, even against the bad teams. And so
Right, no, he's got him breaking people's wills. One of the things that I was after the Chiefs-Bills game, I was looking at just like the records. Obviously, after every win, we refresh the standings because it just feels so good to see us up on top. And I saw that the Bills outscored teams like by 106 points. Like, holy shit, that's a lot. I looked over to the NFC and looked at the Lions. Bro, we almost outscored teams by 160 points. It's almost, it's not almost double, but it's a substantially large amount more than the next team. We're going out there and we're kicking the fuck out of these teams.
Can we talk about this game a little bit in specifics?
Yeah, so let's get into some of the specifics. So, I mean, one of the highlights for this game is the Lions started the game with 7 straight touchdowns and 7 straight drives. I don't know if that's an NFL record or if we're getting close to it, but nothing that I've seen in Lions history before. The offense
that was one of the starters. That's all the starters. The starters got pulled, which is why they didn't go 8 for 8.
Right.
They still scored though, so 8 for 8 on scoring.
They still did.
Master
score.
Bates hit a field goal.
And would have scored on the 9th drive if they didn't just do the right thing and kneel it out.
I think that's true. 38 first downs, which is the most in franchise history.
76 plays ran and 38 first downs.
That's literally 50%.
That's 50%. 50% of the plays they ran.
That's literally like Alabama playing Mercer or Georgia playing Alcorn State. Like, that's just an absolute. Like, that's the type of shit you see in week like 12 when the SEC has their tune-up game.
Their bye week.
Their little bye week versus like a FCS team or
right.
Just a clap season. I mean, that's not supposed to happen in the NFL, let alone 3 times in a year. And by the way, like, you could argue though Texans' first half was a little bit of a letdown. It was, but even when they did, I think that even when they did have that one little moment of letdown, they literally instantly were like, "Oh shit, we got to turn it around," and they got it done. That's how good they are. Like, people don't understand. They're like, people only look at the box score and they'll be like, "Oh, the Texans played the Lions close. It was a close game." It's like, if the Lions had woken up and played the way they played in the second half and the first half, the whole game, they'd probably win by 14 points, 17 points, like that. Yeah. We were clearly the better team, as you could see in the second half. And I will say, I think this week could be a mini look-ahead situation, now that we just said that they don't have look-aheads. But they're playing a pretty solid Colts team right before the Thanksgiving day. I still think we'll win the game, but like, I wouldn't be shocked if we end the season like literally 14-3, and one of our 2 losses is to the Colts.
Well, I think we're going into what is it? 3 games in 10 days, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, Sunday, Thursday. So whatever Sunday the second Thursday.
Sunday, Thursday. Because
Sunday,
next Sunday,
yep.
Thursday.
Yep.
And then Thursday, Sunday, Thursday.
But speaking of the last game, and I don't know, do you guys have? Do any of you have Jared Goff as your game ball?
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious why I'm giving him our game ball. I mean, the one thing I want to speak to on Jared Goff is this was like the bounce back game. When we look at the end of the season and we talk about the MVP race or talk about any of these passing leaders, we're going to look back, and this game is going to be the anomaly, the thing that we're just going to have to brush off and brush to the side. And this game was a perfect snapback game for him. Perfect opponent to go out there and do it to. The previous games where we went against deemed lesser opponents, I think that we didn't go out there and do what we should have done. We didn't go out there and get Goff warmed up, throwing to Amon-Ra St. Brown. So he kind of was in this lull for like 2 weeks prior to last game. This game, they started that. I think on that first drive, 2 of his first 3 passes were to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Montgomery started the game. We pounded up the middle, and it got Goff going. Goff's getting my game ball. Right now, he's leading the league in passing percentage, fourth in TDs, probably about 9th or 10th, I think, from the list, sitting back in yards. But great bounce back game. That's something you want to see from a leader. So that's my game ball.
No, I think it's literally his best game as a Lion. Like it's hard to quantify. It's like a kind of a dog shit team, but he was 24 for 29. That's 82.8 percentage, 412 yards, 4 touchdowns, and then honestly, one of the craziest stats is 4 rushes, 421 yards. Like you're just letting the man. He looked good in the pocket. His foot. He looked like damn Muhammad Ali back there with the footwork in the pocket when they did send pressure. So
yeah, I mean, he looked the most athletic he's looked in his career. So shout out to Goff.
Back in MVP contention, you think?
I think he is.
Well, honestly, with Lamar they lost and had a bad game. I mean, I'm sure Josh Allen's now the favorite, but
so let's look at the QBs real quick who have better stats. Joe Burrow actually low-key should be in the conversation. He's going crazy, but I still think Lamar has too good of stats. Almost 2,900 passing yards alone, 25 touchdowns with 3 picks. So I still think it's him and Josh Allen. Beyond that, the 2 guys I think you would look at realistically, because Joe Burrow's team is too bad, although he's having a crazy season, is Baker and Jared Goff. The only difference between the 2, and it's not Baker's fault, is that the Lions are actually like a formidable team. The Bucs are good, but they're not crazy good.
So he's up there. I pulled up the betting odds, and surprisingly, Baker's further down the list. He's at plus 5,000. Sort of that 50.
A couple running backs, right?
No, they're just Saquon.
Okay, Saquon. Okay.
But at the top is Josh Allen's plus 150. Lamar is at plus 2 to 1, and then Goff is 6 to 1, plus 600. So, and it's really them 3 because then Jalen Hurts is 4th at plus 1,200. So he's not really. There's a big gap between
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, and then at 5th
because they're 8-2.
So what? I mean, what the hell? I mean, literally, what the hell? I mean, look at his.
We talked about that a couple episodes ago. How winning matters.
It does matter, but like, it does, but like that's a little bit obscene. I mean, the dude's got. He's actually okay. He's less turnovers than I thought, but
he's like 13th in passing yards.
It's also the tush push touchdowns. He's got 11 rushing touchdowns.
He's like 14th in passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
It's the winning. That definitely is a much larger factor than considering.
I think Goff could still get it. I think he's got to play stellar down the stretch here, and I think you probably have to have like Josh Allen have a bad game, Lamar have another bad game. Just from the nature of how they get stats versus how Goff gets stats. Like Goff isn't going to get any of the rushing stats, right? So,
right,
yeah.
Goff has to go up and put Joe Burrow numbers in like these next 2 games, and he'll jump up in the NFL MVP odds considerations. So I'm talking like these next 2 games, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, and then he's squarely up at the top.
Yeah, just gotta go dummy.
You say Colts, Bears? Yeah, let's torch these motherfuckers. Let's go over that MVP. That's got to be the logic. No, but so Goff, I mean, that's a very obvious game ball, and the issue, like I said in the beginning, talking about a game like this is you could literally give a game ball to any coach, any player, any fucking fan in the stadium. But George, who are you gonna go ahead and give your game ball to?
I'm giving my game ball to Brian Branch. He led the team in tackles, 5, 2 assists.
Standard.
It's standard, but also, I mean, the defense held them to how many points? Please? How many points?
6.
Exactly. So, I mean, enough said right there. And he laid the biggest hit. Holy shit. That had me on my feet.
You think the ref had his hand on his hip?
Definitely.
Soft ass league. Get out of here, bro. Cleanest hit of all time. That's a tight end too. That's a big dude. So he laid the boom on that dude.
He
for
lays
sure.
the wood. Brian Branch lays the wood.
Right. You know, it was awesome in the very next play, and we're gonna always talk about our safeties because it is the best safety tandem in the league. The very next play, they ran the ball like a stretch play to the right with ETN, and then Kirby Joseph came up, wrapped up the legs, driven back at tackle in the backfield for about a yard or 2. That was a back-to-back safety play, but awesome.
Yeah, he's a beast. He looked awesome in that game. He lost his little Pikmin thing on top for a minute there, but he found it.
The mouthpiece.
The mouthpiece.
The backup. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say there's just not much to be said. I mean, he went out there and performed how he's supposed to. I think he jumped Kirby as the PFF #1 graded safety in the league. I mean, he jumped him by 1/10 of a point. So I guess there's a battle between 2, and it's that 2. But Jim, go ahead.
Yeah. No. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So I mean, there's a couple game balls. I was gonna say something ridiculous earlier. That's why I was trying to interrupt, but or not trying to interrupt. But so 2 game balls. One is it's gonna be a weird one, but hear me out. Doug Peterson. Reason being, he got that team to be so unmotivated and so unready to show up that we were able to just absolutely steamroll them, get a bunch of kinks out. You know, see what get that chemistry as you were talking about earlier with JMO, with Amon-Ra. Get some guys moving around the field, get Brock Wright a touchdown. So thank you, Doug Peterson. Game ball to you for bringing in that horrific team that really is probably more talented than it showed. But, thank you for that. I think the other game ball, Amon-Ra St. Brown, he has sacrificed this year, I think, a couple of games, his stat lines, because he's now getting double teamed. And we've been, especially that Cardinals game, we literally just said we're going to run the ball all day because we lost last week against Tampa by not running the ball. Mm-hmm. And I think Amon-Ra's stats have been down this year, and I don't think it's really due to his performance. So I think this game is huge, puts him back up near, top 10 for yards and touchdowns, and probably higher for touchdowns. But he was awesome, as always. Good to see him get his due, and I also love seeing JMO succeed. So the 2 of them having great days, just builds that confidence, builds that camaraderie. Go do it against the Colts.
Please. Got Jameson Williams in my flex, my fantasy team. Please.
Put in Allen Robinson.
And last but definitely not least, Drew, what you got for your game ball? Do you even have one to give?
I do. And it's none other than our world class OC Ben Johnson.
You love that guy.
I do. And well, I think that since we lost Aiden and we've gone on this stretch, which I really think has been like the meat and potato. We'll look back at it as like the meat and potatoes of the season, like what really made it, like was the make or break point of our season. I don't think the offense has really been credited for any of the wins. I mean, we're 5-0 without Aiden, and it's with the Titans, it was the special teams, and with Green Bay, it was how good our defense played. And I don't know. I thought that this was like Ben Johnson saying, "Oh yeah, no, like our offense can do it too. Like let me go show you that we can literally score any way we want. We can put up 645 yards on you. We can have 38 first downs. We can have, we can gash a defense where they're paying those guys too." Like,
Right.
And I don't know. I thought when I said it was kind of like his interview to Shad, I kind of meant that. Like, I think he's putting tape out there of like what he can do. And I love it. I'm here for it because I want to ride that to a Super Bowl.
Pause.
And no homo. No homo. Don't find me like LaMelo.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Homophobic.
Anyways.
Hey, we're a sex positive podcast.
But yeah, I would ride that BJ right to a Super Bowl.
Well, I fuck with the sentiment. I don't know if I fuck with the wording, but no, I agree. I like that. I think you giving him your game ball like 5 of the 10 weeks, somewhere in there. No, close.
I think a lot of times. I mean, doesn't he deserve it?
I think he does. No trick plays though. Were you upset by that?
Not at all. Just dink and duck it over the middle.
Right.
Drew's over here saying our offense isn't getting enough attention. They're not getting credited.
Tell me it has. Over this.
This. I'll give you this. The narrative has been different. Like with Houston, it was the defense holding them back. Holding them in the second half. I mean, because we knew the offense was great, even last year. So like when the defense is showing up and when the special teams are winning us games, I think people like to give that credit. But it's funny. I'm just rousting you, Drew.
First in points scored, fifth in points allowed. Two elite units over there.
That's the recipe for a Super Bowl. 2 top 5s.
Only one team has put up 52 points in a regular season game this season, and the Lions did it twice. The Lions did it twice.
You guys actually see that game was a scoregami?
I did.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Lions second scoregami this year. Let's go.
What was the first one? Cowboys?
I think so. I don't know which one. I just saw, a tweet that said Lions second scoregami, and I never fact checked it. I just believed
George doesn't know what a scoregami is.
I know what scoregami is. I know what scoregami is. Goofball.
Trying to piss him off.
Jesus Christ! I think I sent that last year to you.
What?
Get worked.
Yeah, get worked on live.
I'm the one that's been tracking it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I am the.
Here's what I had to say to you. You are a loser. Loser.
Hey, I can't argue with the man.
Hey.
Yeah, he's 2-0 in his prop bets.
Stop bullying.
True. I thought
we're a bully positive podcast.
All those, yeah.
Bully positive. bully free.
Bully free. G Height is a bully.
What happened to Stop Hate, George? What happened to Stop Hate? That's a campaign right now.
Yeah. Last name. It's gonna keep coming forever. Anyways,
we should do a pun that says "Stop Hate" and it's like stopping George Hate. It's like his face.
And put like animal rapist next to his picture.
Oh my god!
Yeah. And they're like, "Yeah, stop hate, stop hate."
That's not me. That's not me.
I mean,
let him near your farm.
Outside of animal rapists, what kind of concerns us moving forward?
Besides animal rapists?
Getting the number one seed because I think our back half of our schedule is more difficult. We played some tough games already, but our games are against an okay Colts team, a Bears team that can win games, not great, but a decent team. Then we have to play a gauntlet of Packers, Bills, I believe the Bears again, the 49ers, and the Vikings. That's not like the world's worst schedule, but I think you gotta win at least 13, if not 14 games to get the 1 seed this year. So, and the Eagles have a tough schedule too, but if they keep playing well, they have a chance to sneak in and take that from us.
I was gonna throw you the Eagles schedule and ask you who's got it tougher. So Eagles got Rams away, then they got Carolina at home, Then they play the Steelers at home. They play the Commanders away. They play the Cowboys at home, and they play the Giants at home.
That's tough because they have what I would say are 4 actually pretty tough games and 3 easy peasy pie games.
Oh, and I totally missed this. They also play the Ravens. Play the Ravens.
Yeah,
away.
The Ravens. I'd say the Ravens, Commanders, Steelers, and Rams is hard, but then you also get to play the Panthers, the Cowboys, and the Giants. So you're almost guaranteed 3 wins. If they go 2-2 in those other tough games, that's 13-4. So for us, we've still got the Packers, Vikings, double Bears, Colts, Bills, 49ers. I mean, I think we'll beat the Colts, and I think we'll beat the Bears twice. But that's we have a much harder schedule, I think, than the.
And if we go 2-4 in those other games, then.
Right. Well, I think we'll. I ultimately
think 2-2.
I think they're pretty equitable. To your point, I think they're like.
Bro, I don't know. So the Bills are the best team in the AFC, arguably. They're up there. They're with the Ravens.
They are the best team in the AFC right now. They have to be. I mean, I think technically the Chiefs are still number 1 because they only have 1 loss and the Bills have 2. But
the 49ers are 5-5 with a depleted receiving core.
So let's say that they're equal to the Rams. I would say that that's an equal toughness. I would say that Ravens is, even though the Bills technically better than the Ravens beat, let's say that's an even game. Then they have 2 other tough games. They have the Steelers.
Packers and Steelers,
fine. And then Vikings and Commanders, fine. Then what's left? We have the Bears and the Colts. Bears and Colts are better than the Bryce Young Panthers, the Tommy DeVito Giants, and the Cooper Rush Cowboys. That's poop, piss, and shit in a bowl.
Whoa. Those are some of the cooler quarterbacks in the league. Chill.
I thought it was going to be Drew Lock. I thought it was Drew Lock, not...
It's Cutlets, baby. But...
It better be Cutlets. He's way better.
They're out of the playoffs. If they lose any of those 3 games, I guarantee you they lose round 1. Guaranteed if they lose any of those games. They won't.
Yeah.
But so they have 3 automatic wins, even though the Bears are piss. They're not as bad as any of those teams, and I think we could legitimately split with them. They're not shit. They're just the fart.
And the Colts are still fighting for a playoff spot.
That's what I'm saying.
Bro, Richardson against like teams that are equitable to him is like a coin flip. He's like going out there,
running quarterback,
but against good teams, bro, he's horrible.
Running quarterback,
he's horrible.
He just doesn't have enough experience. He's got cool talent. He's got flashes. He's not ready for it yet.
Hey, we got Malcolm Rodriguez.
The only chance the Bears have against us is if they bring back Justin Fields.
Hey, Kane.
That's facts.
Let me tell you the Colts scores against good teams this season. Week 1, lose the Texans by 2. Week 2, lose the Packers by 6. Beat the Bears in week 3.
No. What are his? You gotta check his stats.
He's starting all these games. These are all his games still.
Right. Is he doing good, or are they close games like the Texans won? Low scoring.
I wasn't done because there's still some more games that they won, which were big wins. Although Joe Flacco's played in one of these, but they beat the Steelers. Straight up. They beat the Steelers. Again, played the Texans.
With Justin Fields.
With Justin Fields, but let's not act like Russell Wilson has been playing way better. Did you see him last game? He anyways.
That was his worst game. Keep going, though. Keep going. That was his worst game, though.
The Colts are not a good team, but they are unlike the Jaguars, who had no shot ever. This is truly one of those games where they get paid too, so you need to show up.
Right.
Because the Jaguars was a dead-end coach, dead-end team.
Right. We're comparing Richardson to Mac Jones at that point, and that's the difference in that game.
Or Tommy DeVito, or as much as you like him, Cooper Rush. Like, those guys, I'm sorry, Anthony Richardson, unless he has one of his, 10% worst days, is just as good of an option for a team because of his running threat and his bomb threat as Cooper Rush or Tommy DeVito. It's just a fact.
You guys we'll get to this and we'll get to the preview. You thinking Anthony Richardson drops back. Lions are playing man coverage. Someone streaking down the left sideline. Flag or no flag?
I go to hell.
Yeah. I'll put my money on flag, but no, I mean,
well, we have to talk about Anzalone,
and that's probably our only real true concern, player wise. George, you want to take this one?
Yeah, we lost one of our captains. It's sad to see. He broke something, correct? He broke his arm.
Wrist, I think.
I think he's just listed as a forearm injury right now, but there was the clip of him immediately after he went down where he's looking at I'm sure we all saw the clip, where he's looking at his teammate saying it's broke, and he's clutching at his arm.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
And he said he's out for 6 to 8 weeks, which puts him right at the playoff start for his return.
We'll have a bye week, so
if we went out,
which is why getting that bye week is important. Anyway, sorry, go ahead, George.
This is important for our linebackers to step up. I mean, Campbell just had a great game. Coming off a great game for him, Malcolm's back. We just signed David Long Jr., who in 2023 had 113 tackles. So he's no slouch. He had a 93.4 run defense last season. Rating, excuse me. So it's a concern. He's a captain. He's probably he's the leader of the defense. Mm-hmm. We already lost Hutch. So like our defense was questionable last season. I don't know. It's a weird situation to be in. It's sad to see. Anzalone is, after he wrote that, it was the Players Tribune, that letter last year after the NFC Championship loss. That got me fired up. I was, damn near brought a tear to my eye reading that thing. But I don't know. He encapsulates a lot of what this team is, and I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts?
I mean, I'm sad to see him go. Obviously, I think Jack Campbell has made some of the biggest strides that go unnoticed in this year, particularly from last year. I hope that he can step up and be kind of the captain that we need in the middle of the defense. I don't know much about David Long Jr. Like, truthfully, from what you said, it sounds good, but was he on a roster? Was he a free agent?
He just got cut by the Dolphins.
And so, like, I don't know what that means by him getting cut. Did he want more money? Was he actually just not performing? Was he being a fuckhead? Like, I don't know what that means. And so, I mean, I'm a little concerned. I mean, our defense has already been a little bit depleted. We got our DBs getting healthy, but hate seeing Anzalone. I don't know. I'm pissed. I'm a little sad. I'm frightened.
It's really rough. It's really, really rough, I think. But to George's point, the good news is, and your point, Jack Campbell's become a different kind of player this year. And if you actually look, I only use PFF when I like it. When I hate it, I think it's the stupidest website on earth. But he's got a great rating this year, and you can just see it. He's making plays. He had a pass break against the Texans where he looked like a DB. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And Malcolm has actually been really highly rated by PFF this year too. And he's had a couple games where he's had to play extended minutes, and Nowaski's even stepped up and had some good moments. So do I think we're going to miss him? Yes.
Germ's out. Germ's out for the next 2 games.
R.I.P.
Neiman. We got Neiman.
Dude, even Neiman I think is hurt now, but he was playing good.
Fuck, dude. Come on.
No, but
I think war of attrition, baby. We'll be okay.
Yeah, go ahead. I think it's one of the position groups that we said at the beginning of the season was like so deep, and that we were so excited about how deep it was because and now we get to see that come to fruition. Like the fact of the matter is, like, you look at any other team that has sustained injuries to our like a linebacker core like we have, or really just like a core defensive front. I think Derek Barnes, now Anzalone, Germ being out, Davenport being out, obviously Hutch, like all of these injuries we've sustained, and we still have 2 starters out there, and we still have flexibility on whether we want to run a 2 linebacker set or 3 linebacker set and put Nowaski or Neiman out there if he's healthy. Like, I think that's really been a luxury, and the fact that we're going to get these guys back, like Iffy is already thinking about coming back. CJ Mosley. Really?
Yeah, he hurt himself he has a different injury, so he's not going to be back for at least a couple weeks. But sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Mosley as well. Yeah.
Mosley, yeah. It's This is why Brad Holmes built the defense the way he did. So
yeah, the biggest test we talk about us are the Eagles, and that's all hearsay. Obviously, at the end of the day, come the end of the season. But the team that wins the NFC or makes it to the Super Bowl, the 2 teams are the 2 healthiest teams in the league. So that's going to be our biggest test. Obviously, we can score on anybody. great run defense, decent pass defense, but it's going to be how healthy we are at the end of the season. So I'm hoping George just dust off that Malcolm Rodriguez jersey. He's going to carry us to the Holy Land.
It's hung up. It's dry clean. It's ready. It's ready for the next game.
Dry clean.
Yeah, man. I need you to go ahead and give him a call and let him know we're rooting for him.
Oh,
definitely. I did have a quick little fun thought here at the end, unless there's any other concerns.
Go ahead.
This is just want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. So, as you guys know, when we played the Jags in 2022, we beat them 40-14. We kicked their ass. We talked about it in the preview last week. And Jim, that was when we were talking shit on Call of Duty. It was a good night for us.
Yeah.
But in 2023, The Athletic put out a poll, and it was who would you rather be going forward? And it was the Jaguars and the Lions. And 66% of people voted for the Jaguars. They'd rather be the Jaguars. Mind you, that was after the blowout against the Lions a year later. And fast forward another year, we beat the fuck out of them again. So, just wanted to point that out there.
Hey, they put the poll out again?
They should.
I'd love to see the contrast.
Hey, they wrote us off.
We didn't write back.
You guys know better than anybody. You can't trust polls. But
Well, if you didn't learn that lesson in 2016, you're a goofball.
But
George punching air right now.
Well, you see Malcolm and Zadarius Smith.
Yeah, actually, how do you reconcile the two things?
Oh, here's how I reconcile. So, if he is a Trump fan, let's say, means he probably knows his way around handling an AR-15. So next week we might be kicking some fucking ass. Just saying. Just saying.
Oh wow!
Hey, written in the stars, buddy.
Quicker. You're quicker than most.
Those are some broad generalizations, but so what? Last thing, very last topic. Zadarius Smith. Did you guys like what you saw out of him?
Yeah.
Didn't see much because we were at my wife's. George and I spent the second half of my wife's concert performance, but in between acts, when she wasn't up, we saw a few snips. So yeah, he looked good.
You didn't watch the All-22?
I like
no,
that.
I was too busy. George and I were too busy trying to get into the Lions facility. We've been trying this stakeout thing for weeks now, where we dug a tunnel under the facility. Still got about 50 feet to dig.
Well, I like what I saw. George, you're too good of a friend. Going to your friend's wife's music thing? What? You're a good friend, man. The Lions are playing.
Peyton is my friend too.
Yeah, didn't you say you had to go do all of Jim's yard work? What was that about?
He didn't have to do it. I asked them to do it while I was out of town on work.
Yeah, while he wasn't there.
Huh?
While you weren't there.
What do you want me to do? It had to get done
I'm not
before the party.
complaining. Not complaining.
Anybody who doesn't know our friend groups, their eyebrows are raising. George is going to the music concert. George is cleaning up the backyard when Jim isn't there.
Jordan helped too.
Wait, was your wife there while you were gone?
George ordering them around.
George is going over there while it's just her and your wife?
We'll get to it in our preview. Jim thinks this game could be a little tricky, so maybe some of the guys agree. I think we kick stomp these fucking dudes in the chest again. As always, thank you guys for listening to the Lions Main podcast. Have a good week. We'll see you on Friday.